Hi, my name is Gary Palmer. I'm the founder and CEO of Payall Payment Systems. Thanks for taking time to learn about our company. Payall has a number of competitive advantages. Now, I've already talked about our technology and our product, but I want to highlight that our fundamental positioning as a processor for banks is a significant competitive advantage. To our knowledge, we haven't found any other company that's focused on providing banks with a cross-border product and enabling correspondent banking as a service. What this means is that we are enabling banks to go to market, and we don't have to spend our capital acquiring business payers. The banks have those customers, so they need product. We're going to enable the product. Also, we're operating as a technology company under the license of banks. So we don't have to go out and get money transmitter licenses or other licenses in which to operate. It's been said that the worst job in a bank is the head of innovation or the head of product. The fact is, it is a tough job, but Payall is this person's best friend because we give them that cross-border product they can't get from anybody else, and we give them the ability to compete and win against fintech or to use our platform to power fintech companies that want to make cross-border payments. Payall enables money to move instantly like data around the world through banks. We're a new kind of bank processor. We're a cross-border payment processor for banks. Banks depend on all sorts of software companies to operate, whether it's a core processor for basic bank accounts, savings accounts, and the like, an issuing processor for credit or debit cards, and banks depend on RegTech companies to help them with Know Your Customer and other compliance activities. Payall has pioneered this new kind of bank processor, a cross-border processor for banks. Let me give you a brief summary of our management team. We have an extraordinary management team. The technology has been architected and designed by a gentleman that I've worked with since 1998. He has 2 PhDs, one in computer science, one in mathematics, and he's considered an expert in the areas of bank tech, reg tech, cryptocurrency, and security. My technical product manager, she's also worked with me since 2002 or 2003. She and the head of technology collaborate on all of our technology. Our head of operations, we've worked together for almost 5 years, and she's worked for banks and fintech companies in Europe for a decade. Also, one of our board members is a former board member of Visa International. He's been a terrific advisor and coach as we've been building our platform. Also on our board is a top executive of Fiserv, a leading provider of core bank software. Now, in terms of my background, I co-founded a company in the 90s called Wildcard Systems. We were the pioneers of prepaid cards, prepaid Visa cards, MasterCards, and the like. And we sold that company in 2005 to eFunds for just over $250 million. I just want to highlight that when we sold the company, 7 or 8 of the largest US banks were our customers. The first Visa cards ever issued in China weren't debit cards or credit cards from Visa. They were Visa travel money cards on our platform. I had signed up those 5 banks in China. And we also were providing services for prepaid cards to the likes of ADP and Paychex, for their payroll cards, United Healthcare for flexible spending account cards, Simon Malls for gift cards, and AAA for travel cards. I'm mentioning these commercial enterprises because we're following the same playbook here at Payall that we successfully deployed at Wildcard Systems, and that is we've built for banks, we're focused on banks, but banks are always a little slower to adopt, so we're selling to commercial enterprises first in conjunction with our bank partners. This lets us drive revenue early, build some scale in the platform, and and help banks get some scale running through them before they begin selling the product directly. The size of the market is estimated to exceed $100 trillion a year. Now, there are a dozen or so macroeconomic trends that are driving this. These include things like the development of free trade zones, the reduction in tariffs among countries, globalization of the workforce, the advent of freelancers, contract workers, All of these are driving the need for global payments. In terms of milestones and traction, let me start with the most important proof point, and that is we're live. We're generating revenue. We're able to make payments in the U.S. 24/7 to a bank account. We're able to give the recipient the choice to have their funds loaded to a virtual or physical prepaid card, not only in the U.S., but in Europe and around the world on a UnionPay International card. And in February 2021, we'll be able to make payments to bank accounts in about 100 countries around the world. Our API library for banks to offer to commercial enterprises that they can integrate into their systems to automate payments is up and running, and it's being used today. So these are all very important elements or proof points of traction and milestones. I also want to mention that I'm truly humbled by the validation from our SAFE participants. A leading U.S. bank is a SAFE participant. One of the top U.S. B2B and B2C processors for banks is a participant in our SAFE, and they're integrating our technology into their platform so that their customers can also make cross-border payments. We have a very prestigious family office from Brazil that has investments in an ATM network in Brazil, a bank in Brazil, and a virtual wallet in Brazil. They're participating in the SAFE and also see the commercial possibilities with their other properties. And more recently, we've had a number of very sophisticated banking and payment professionals participate in the SAFE. It is truly humbling and exciting to have such a diverse mix of extremely sophisticated participants in our SAFE. In terms of our product, I'd like to highlight 4 attributes that are transforming the industry. The first is compliance. Historically, cross-border payments and correspondent banking have been recognized by compliance officers and regulators as high risk. Why? Because the source of funds, the KYB or Know Your Business details, are only known by the bank initiating the payment, nobody else. So banks around the world that are receiving those funds or being asked to facilitate a payment by that foreign bank are doing so on trust. This is a problem for regulators and compliance officers. We transform that. We gather and authenticate and enrich all of the KYB data, the source of funds, and the economic legitimacy of payments, but we don't stop there. For the first time ever, it's communally shared among all of the banks around the world. This is a compliance first and a compliance breakthrough. The second part of our product that's unique is that the funds are processed or transferred instantly around the world. The third part is the all-in cost to a bank compared to SWIFT or some of the alternative methods for sending money and operating Nostro Vostro accounts globally is up to 90% less. Finally, we are focused on recipients. This fourth attribute is very important. Today, a cross-border payment generally goes to a person's bank account. But not everybody wants the money in their bank account. Maybe they want it in their virtual wallet, such as Gcash in the Philippines, or Payall in Brazil, or Alipay in China. Maybe if they live in South Africa and the rand is falling, they'd rather have the funds in dollars or euros to protect their local buying power. Maybe they'd like to buy crypto. Or maybe they'd like to have the funds held in dollars or euros and shop immediately online. We can generate a virtual Visa, MasterCard, or UPI and do that. So this fourth element of our product, which is a focus on recipients, is also a standout feature that makes us unique. My vision for Payall is to be the only company that a bank thinks of when they consider their choices for offering cross-border payment products. I want to have such a distinguished reputation as well as unique product capabilities and world-class services that banks don't even think of any other company. Now, in terms of what my goals are for investors, it's just too early to know for sure. We're focused on building a great business. and market conditions will dictate whether a sale to a private equity firm makes sense, or focusing on selling to a strategic buyer makes sense, or perhaps an IPO if that's something that would become a possibility. But at the moment, we're focused on building a great company, expanding our product capabilities, and as quickly as possible implementing the clients that we have in our pipeline so that we can continue to grow revenues and become that company that banks trust for their cross-border payments.